stand to our feet, let's go to the book of Numbers, chapter 11. And the whole chapter is extremely important, but we are only going to read a few verses. So when you get it, say still saved. Numbers is in the Old Testament. Amen. Numbers. The book of Numbers, chapter 11. When you get it, say still saved. Come on, I need some more still saved. Numbers 11. Yeah, we're going to start at 1. But we'll skip through. And so when you get it, still saved? All right. So look, I'm going to read, you'll follow. This is an extremely vital chapter in the life of the Hebrew people. Now, verse 1. Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord. And when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Then fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned down. Now, verse 4. The rabble with them began to crave other food, and against the Israelites started wailing and saying, if only we had meat to eat. We remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost. Also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we lost our appetite. Now here it is. We never see anything but this manna. Amen? All right, let's come to verse 10. Moses heard the people of every family wailing at the entrance to their tents. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. Now hear what Moses said. He asked the Lord, why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised on oath to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these people? They keep wailing to me. Give us meat to eat. I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you're going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me. Ain't that something? If I found favor in your eyes, and then do not let me face my own ruin. Come on, let's go to verse 26. However, 2 men whose names were Eldad and Medad had remained in the camp. They were listed among the elders, but did not go out to the tent. Yet the Spirit also rested on them. And they prophesied in the camp. A young man ran and told Moses, Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' aide since you, spoke up and said, Moses, my Lord, stop them. But Moses replied, are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets, and the Lord would put his spirit on them. Then Moses and the elders returned to the camp. Amen. Lord, add a blessing to the hearing and to the reading of his holy word. Our sermonic theme today is, Lord, can you please help me? Amen. You'll have your own theme by the time this is over. Amen. Look, let me say that what Moses does in the writings on Moses exposes the trials of leadership. It exposes the trials of commitment to leadership. And it exposes the dysfunction among people who are trying to move to freedom, but still trapped in slavery. Right. So he was tasked now. You got to, when you're looking at Moses, he's tasked with having the bravery to challenge Pharaoh to let his people go. And that's his task now. Right? So part of that challenge now is that as Moses was living as a free man and a shepherd, his own blood was suffering at the hands of Pharaoh. So he had achieved a level of comfort, right? And had blinded himself to the sufferings of his own people. Now keep this in mind. If you study the story, because if you read in Exodus, the story of Moses and his upbringing will go by you real fast. He was not supposed to live.
That's right, from the beginning.
Right? He was not supposed to live. Right? And so now he have achieved this sense of security, and now God has set this bush on fire, and now he is brought back in to be able to assist with his people. Right. So the vision of release had to come to pass, and God had to return his people to the land promised to them. To get there, you've got to release them from bondage. Right. Now, keep in mind now, the Bible spends less time on the release and them coming out, right? Him actually getting them out from under Pharaoh, and spends more time on the wilderness. Because most of the drama was occurring in the wilderness dysfunction. Come on, talk to me somebody. Right. Now that was the challenge. The challenge was the journey to the promised land with the mentality of slave people, right? It failed in comparison to the actual exodus from Pharaoh. So the most challenging times comes when they're trying to get them to accept that they're free.
Hallelujah.
Right. But that comes with the cost, because there are people who died. So much as the slave wanted to be free, right? He got used and got comfortable to the evil that he was subjected to. So the tragedy is, and I forget the quote, the tragedy is a slave who don't realize that they're a slave.
Yes.
Come on, talk to me, somebody.
Yes.
Look, so what happens then is that once let free, there is an ungrateful mentality that will travel with them. Because there's more work involved to be free, right? Because now they've got to change a dysfunctional mindset and now accept freedom and act as free. And so we have to be careful, and they have to be careful, because when it gets too hard, you want to go back to Pharaoh. Talk to me, somebody. It's like this. Look, we were saved from sin, right? Now, if we saved from sin, we got used to it. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Look, you'll get comfortable in sin and not even realize it's sin no more. People won't even come to church. I don't want my sin to be exposed. But you in the right place. Sin get exposed all the time up in here. But you got to have a heart to be able to receive the word, to be able to expose you in order that you can live a better life. Right. Now, what did they want here? This was the issue, right? They didn't like the food. So they was free, but the problem was with the diet. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Right. The meat represented the comfort and the stability of bondage, right? They get used to it. We begin to survive on it. So the leadership challenges are to guide the people to a place, right, where they could not conceive of going, right? It means that we're trying to get you off of Pharaoh's meat, right? Now, what's the issue here? They got manna coming from heaven. This is a miracle, right? We got manna coming from heaven. And there's still a complaint. Come on, talk to me, somebody. So there's a manna. There's manna. You got food to eat, but you like the comfort of what you was eating while in slavery. Right. Now, it's hard now. Sure, it's hard for the followers, but most importantly for the leader, because if he gets frustrated, then he'll fall victim to the same dysfunctional mentality. Right? And then we'll lead them, he'll lead them from Pharaoh, back to Pharaoh, instead of guiding them to the promised land. Right. Now, that's the mentality that can be tragic, especially for young saints. Right? Because when new saints come in, right, they're learning that the life that they were living wasn't the best life. Right? The associations that they were having were not the best associations. Right? So it was pulling them down. Again, I keep bringing myself up. My insecurity when I got what I call truly saved was I wanted to bring everybody I had been partying with me. Right? Because then I wouldn't be alone. Right? So if I had my partners with me, right, then they sitting there with me, then I'd be okay because I had an insecure about loneliness in the world. Right? Now what happens? Instead of me bringing them with me, I'm going with them. Right? Because it was so easy to receive that call at night to go hang out and roll out with them instead of getting myself in bed, getting rested, and getting myself in church the next morning. Talk to me, somebody. Right. So it was difficult, right? Because now we're changing. So it's a change mentality that has to occur. That's why you got to say goodbye to an old life and receive a new life. Right. And see, I can do the same with the church. Like the church has to be careful, right? That we don't want to go back to always what it was. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Right. You can't go back to always what it was, right? And then be able to say there's a new land for us to get to. All right? Now, why? Why do we go and why do we go? Why? Because it's comfortable. Right? It's comfortable. We don't have to learn a new song. We can keep with the same song. We don't have to learn, see new preachers. Let's keep with the old preaching way. Come on, let's hold the same functions, do it the same way, use our building the same way, and then keep the same people. Don't let new people in. If new people come in, turn our nose up at them. They don't dress like us. They don't walk like us. They don't talk like us. So what happens? It becomes easy. And don't let somebody take your seat. Amen? Right? You got new saints that come in there. They're sit on Deacon Road. They don't know. Right? Because I'm just trying to be near the fire. I'm happy to be saved. Show me where I can get to the fire. Right. That's the challenge, right? Now you see what happens. Go to verse 4. Come on, quickly. Come on, we'll get you through. The rabble with them began to crave other food. And again, now they left Egypt, but they're still craving Egypt, right? And then they start wailing and said, if only we had meat to eat. Then they start remember the fish we ate in Egypt, but look at this, at no cost, right? We got it for free. We didn't have to exert the activity and the action. Also, we got the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. They going through the whole grocery list here. Right? And now this is going to Moses, right? Because there had to be attention. Bro, you wasn't here when we was going through this. You don't know how good we had it. So they're throwing the burden on Moses. Now we lost our appetite. So we desire so much the old way, we can't even receive this manna from him. Same. Right? Same. We're requiring, I would rather you put me back under this tyranny where I didn't have to do what I have to do now in order that I can get the cucumbers and get me some free garlic, some free fish? Come on, talk to me, somebody. Some people, look, salvation is something you're going to have to work at. You're going to have to pay a price in this thing. You're going to have to get up early. Sometimes you're going to have to stay late. You're going to have to forgive people. You're going to have to love when you don't even want to love. You're going to have to love when you're just trying to like. You're going to have to open your Bible even when you don't know nothing. Find something that's going to be able to give you some strength in order to get through this journey. Salvation, look, you can be saved, you can give your life there, you're going to have the same boss you had on Friday, you're going to go in there tomorrow. The same people you're working with, amen, you still going to have to deal with him. Right? So, but it's now a different mentality. You can't go and be among and of them, you got to be of him. All right. Now look at this, so they want the meat. Now, you can eat manna, right, and still want Pharaoh, right? So you can go through and satisfy your earthly, your fleshly desires, Matthew 6:24, right? But you can't serve two masters. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be devoted to one or despise the other. Right. Look, I can preach to you all day, but if you don't have the heart to receive it, you won't get it. Right? I can go ahead, I can do it in the correct format. Let's read this scripture right here. Let's read this gospel right here. Let's preach. I can do it for 5 minutes, I can do it for 30 minutes. If your heart ain't right, you ain't gonna receive it. Right. This group here, they got bread coming from heaven and they can't even receive it. So even though they eat it, it's not satisfying them spiritually nor physically because they're still in Egypt. Come on, help me somebody. Right. And so you get stuck in Egypt, right? You're going to have, look, when you start disliking and when you start hating, when you won't receive somebody, you won't speak to them, what? You back in Egypt. Then you get comfortable with it because when you don't speak for somebody for a long time, then you don't have to speak to them at all, right? So then you get comfortable. No, I'm not speaking. I'm not saying nothing. And then when we ask you, why are you not speaking? Why are you not sitting next? Why can't you pray? You can't even say what it is. Stuck in Egypt. Right? Now, hear this now. Now, it won't do you. Look, this is the challenge. Now, you can go at the followers, but you got to go at Moses too. Right? Because Moses is, believing in people who don't believe. The leader can see the promised land, but the challenge is getting the people to see it and embrace it. If not, the wilderness experience gets extended. Because even though I can take you out of Egypt and put you in the promised land, you ain't gonna appreciate it. Okay. Right. So the challenge here is, look, with the scripture, Moses is frustrated, and this people have pushed him to challenge the Lord to get him up out of this mess. Amen. Anybody been in leadership in church that's been here where Moses is? I don't care. You can tell me that you haven't been, but you may not have done it publicly, but privately you were like, Lord, what you done got me into? These ain't my kids, these your kids. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Come on, let somebody hang up on you on the phone and you trying to be Christian. It'll get to you. What? Did this person just hang up on me? Lord, this ain't my kids, these your kids. Right? Moses at the point now, you got to look at the language and what Moses is saying. And see, that's the thing I love about the Bible is real about it. They don't give you a flowery picture here. Moses, why have you brought this trouble on your servant? He done got purely about him, right? He didn't say, look, why are you messing with me and Aaron? No, why are you messing with me? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive them? Did I give them birth? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised and oath to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these? He can't even let God talk. They keep wailing. The burden is too heavy for me. Now here's the praise report. At least he didn't take it in a gossiping situation and go and talk. He went straight to God. Right? He went straight to God in all of this. Look, he's feeling burdened, overwhelmed, disenchanted. The leadership is challenged because leadership will be challenged with ungratefulness. Right? You're not in Egypt with Pharaoh, but you mad at lunch. In his frustration, he distances himself from his own people. Right? And this is the point here where even the leader has to recognize the burden, but not run from it, but embrace it. Okay? If God had called you in the leadership in church, embrace it. But please don't come into this thing thinking that this is going to be easy steaming for you. There's a price that have to be paid. Simply because you're dealing with the emotions and the difficulties of people. Sometimes it's not about people hanging up on you. I mean, now too, they may be hanging up specifically on you. All right. And that's another sermon. But let me say this. Sometimes when you meet people you meet them at 45. You weren't there for chapter 1 through 44. Look, in ministry, church, it's a hospital for the sick and soul. Right? We don't know what people have been through. That's what Moses can say, he can be upset. Moses, God put you over people that have been captive for 400 years. Don't think they're going to walk out with a parade for you. Right? Moses, thus far, by Numbers 11, I haven't seen Moses have no appreciation ceremony. Okay. Right? They upset with him. And they just leaving him outside. Right? So it's about to get crazy. Right? But look what Moses does. Lord, I'm coming to you. Help me. Moses understood. And Moses at times has got to be, reminded. Look, Moses was a stutterer, couldn't talk, but then he gave him Aaron. Right? Come on now. Moses Pharaoh had the strongest army in the land. Moses showed up with a staff. Defeated him. Right? And many times you got to turn to who brought you through. Even Christ. Look, why hast thou forsaken me? Or take this cup, let it pass. Not my will, but thine will, O Lord. Hallelujah. Right? That's the challenge on it, right? That's the challenge. Okay? How can we, in the process, can we deal with it? That's the strength of leadership. It's not perfection. Right? If it's perfection, none of us would be up here. Right? But it is stamina. Right? Can we push through our mistakes, our dysfunctions, our ups and downs, and even when we mess up, can we still say, Lord, help me through this? Right? Can we still do it? Or do we look in the pie in the sky with the roses lined up every time we walk in here? Right? This is the challenge. Now, God solves the issue here. He hears his servant, and it's clear that God is not going to leave him alone. Amen. Come on, if you read it, they got together 70 elders, let them stand around the tent. Then God then took the spirit from Moses and put it upon these 70 elders. Right? Now that's a challenge too, especially those in leadership, those in farm. Look, give of yourself. Right? Which is a vulnerability. Right? Give of yourself. God pulled something from the leader who was having all of these. Let me pull that anointing from you and let me place it upon those who we chose. Right? 68 of them. They prophesied, 68 of them prophesied all that way, for just a limited time. There was 2 that kept prophesying in the midst of the camp. Right? Now, that was another leadership issue, and that's another challenge. Because they're there prophesying. They got the Spirit of God on them, and yet now they're not complaining about food, but they're complaining that somebody else is prophesying other than Moses. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Here, I'll bring it home. The thought here that only the pastor can say grace on the food downstairs. Come on, work with me now. Y'all can find somebody else. Let me give somebody my spirit. They can go down there and bless that food. Come on, talk to me, somebody. Look, all throughout the word, look, this is a word for me, it's a word for you, it's a word for all of us in leadership. God always provided some help. Right? Christ had the disciples, right? Always had some help. Right? Even the apostles, the scriptures that we always study with our deacons. Deacons were created simply because the challenge of widows and those who were sick, right, were not receiving the spiritual care that was needed. God provided help. Surely you will get help too. And in those not in leadership, be open for that anointing. Be open for that spirit to come. Right? Right, come on. Now what does Moses say in response? Moses say, are you jealous for my sake?
Glory.
Moses is happy right now. First of all, he done had his meeting session with God. He done said all what he needed to say. God heard him.
Right.
Now I got two other prophets, two other people willing to prophesy and take on some leadership. Are you jealous for me? Look, I wish I had some more. I wish that all the Lord's people were prophets and that the Lord would put his spirit on them.
That's right. Yes.
He wished more people would stand up, right, within the spirit of the Lord and take on the responsibility. Is that so hard? We people of the Most High God. This was God's chosen people.
Yes, it was.
They complaining about the food, and then complaining the very person that they blaming for all of this, right? Now they mad because he ain't doing all the prophesying.
Okay.
Ain't that something? Ungrateful. Come on, go back. I don't know what I titled it. Say, Lord, help a brother out. Ultimately, we see Moses did not make it to the promised land. However, he did not abandon his responsibility through his mistakes, through his ups and downs, through his venting. He stayed with it till the Lord took the burden off of him.
Amen.
Right? Joshua took over, got him in, right? But we still talk about Moses. Because it was a real life effort, a real life illustration of the difficulties in what we have to do, but also the joys that we can get through it.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
We just don't get the chance to sit back and just let everybody else do it and not us. You can do something. Right? You be within God's spirit, be within his grace, he'll make it work. Come on, let's give God praise for his holy word.